How
Elton John is not only famous for his music, but also for his rare outspoken personality. Although he has collaborated with a series of famous artists, he does not hesitate to name the names of those he does not like. What made Elton John publicly criticize them? And has anyone ever resolved their differences with him? Discover 6 artists that Elton John hates openly, and the reasons behind them. Keith Richards. Keith Richards and Elton John's decades-long musical quarrel is one of rock's most bitter, with fierce public insults and uncommon professional respect. The rock star's hatred began in 1988 when Richards criticized Elton in Rolling Stone. When asked about Elton's song I Don't Want to Go On With You Like That, Richards called him a lovely bloke, but posing a dig at his artistic integrity. 9 years later, Princess Diana's death exacerbated the problem. In response to Elton's tribute performance of Candle in the Wind 1997, Richards told Entertainment Weekly, "Yeah, that did jar. Songs for Dead Blondes." More provocatively, he said, "I'd find it difficult to ride on the back of something like that myself." But Reg Elton's birth name is Showbiz. Elton was Princess Diana's close friend, so this timing was very devastating. Richard's comments were seen as personal attacks during a time of grieving, not just artistic criticism. In addition, Elton was resentful of a humiliating 1980s cocaine-fueled event. He wrote in his memoirs that he hijacked a Rolling Stones performance in Colorado after being asked to play honky-tonk women. Elton thought his piano playing was improving their performance, so he stayed on stage. He noticed Richards was gazing at him with an expression that wasn't suggestive of profound musical appreciation during the long, uncomfortable visit. Elton lost his temper at Richards' "Song for Dead Blondes" comment. In a 1997 interview with the New York Daily News, he bluntly stated, "I'm glad I'm off drugs and alcohol. It would be horrible if it were Keith Richards." Poor guy. Like an arthritic monkey trying to go on stage and look young. I have a lot of respect for the Stones, but they would have been better off if they'd kicked Keith out 15 years ago. I just think he's a scum, and I've thought that for a long time. Elton also criticized Richards' hypocrisy. What is entertainment if it's not the Rolling Stones? They hype women. Richards' criticism of Elton as showbiz was ironic, because the Stones used theatrical elements. Elton maintained his dislike of Richards in his memoirs and interviews, suggesting that bitterness persisted decades after those comments. The conflict appears to have remained unresolved for decades. However, at the 2015 GQ Awards, the two appeared to be talking. This unexpected encounter has raised questions about whether their feud was blown out of proportion for the public to see or whether they had reached a consensus. Elton played piano on 2 Rolling Stones tunes, Get Close and Live by the Sword, for Hackney Diamonds in 2020. Elton was delighted. Richards told Rolling Stone, "Everyone loves the Rolling Stones. Like Paul McCartney," Elton said, "I only play with the Rolling Stones." This professional relationship implied that musical respect overcame personal conflict. Despite their criticism, Elton always admired the Rolling Stones' music, especially Chuck Berry's 1963 song "Come On," which captured their melancholy emotions. The feud between Elton John and Keith Richards shows that personality clashes can cause tension for decades, even between the greatest musical legends. But musical collaborations can help artists put aside their differences to create something memorable. After his spat with Keith Richards, Elton John surprised fans by publicly criticizing global icon Madonna. What made him call her a fake and continue to attack her over the years? Is there a deep feud between the two pop stars? Madonna. Over 20 years, Elton John and Madonna have fought one of music's most bitter rivalries. Their quarrel shows how even famous musicians may have public fights that fascinate fans and journalists. In a 2002 Sky News interview, Elton called Madonna's James Bond theme "Die Another Day" the worst Bond tune ever, causing conflict between the two musicians. "It hasn't got a tune," he said, adding they should have gone for somebody like Lulu and Shirley Bassey, or maybe I'm in that league. A Rocket Man said, "I don't think it's the best Madonna record, and I'm a big fan." Elton's anger with Madonna began with her treatment of Lady Gaga. Elton said in his 2019 biography, that the argument escalated after she ran Gaga down on an American chat show. alluding to Madonna's 2012 appearance calling Gaga's Born This Way a plagiarism of her 1989 song Express Yourself. I couldn't see why she was so ungracious and nasty about it, rather than taking it as a compliment, particularly when she claims to be a champion for women. He said, I think it's just wrong. An established artist shouldn't kick down a younger artist right at the start of their career. Elton found Madonna's actions dishonest and mean-spirited, especially given her self-proclaimed role as an advocate for women in the business. Q Awards 2004 saw a major increase in verbal attacks. Elton attacked Madonna's nomination for Best Live Performance when winning the Classic Songwriter Award, stating, Madonna, best thing live act? F off. Since when is lip-syncing live? Anyone who lip-syncs on stage in public when you pay like 75 quid to see them should be shot. I'm off her Christmas card list, but do I care? No. Liz Rosenberg, Madonna's publicist, stated quickly that Madonna does not lip-sync, nor does she spend her time trashing other artists. Thus, rivalry increased. Elton joked on Good Morning America after Madonna was chosen to play in the 2012 Super Bowl halftime show, make sure you lip-sync good. In a later interview on Channel 7, Elton made a harsh criticism of the singer, saying, her tour is a disaster, and it couldn't happen to a bigger. If Madonna had any common sense, she would have done Ray of Light, avoided the dancing stuff, and simply been a terrific pop vocalist, which she does well, but no, me looks like a carnival stripper. This response echoed Keith Richards' scathing accusations of Elton creating an ironic loop of musician-on-musician verbal warfare. The public saw this conflict as one-sided, with Elton being the nastiest. Music reviewers praised Madonna's moderation throughout the years. Madonna kindly told reporters after defeating Elton at the 2012 Golden Globe for Best Original Song, I hope he talks to me for a while. He sometimes gets upset with me. She said, he'll get another award because I love him and he's wonderful. I feel fine. Elton's husband, David Furnish, complained on Facebook about Madonna's win. Madonna, best song? Go! He apologized, but the episode showed the anger of Elton's camp. Elton regretted his actions. Despite dubbing Madonna a nightmare and fairground stripper, Elton stated in his biography that he didn't know the film would be shown. Still, I shouldn't have said it, he wrote. I apologized. Thankfully, the story ended. Elton told Extra in 2013 that they reconciled following an accidental meeting at a French restaurant. She came in, I sent a message, and she was kind. I apologized excessively because my words should never have been published. In 2023, Elton thanked Madonna on Instagram for her celebration tour performance, remembering AIDS victims, perhaps completing the reconciliation. Thank you, Madonna, for your advocacy and compassion, and for raising important awareness of the ongoing mission to end AIDS. In 2025, Madonna said they had buried the hatchet, saying it hurt because a friend disliked her work. Elton thanked her for forgiving his large mouth, saying, I'm not proud of what I said, especially considering your outstanding artistic effort. This long-running quarrel shows how personal impulses may eclipse professional respect even among music's elite, yet mutual apologies allowed closure. While tensions with Madonna were public and noisy, the relationship between Elton John and David Bowie was much more complicated. Once close friends, why did these two music legends have a rift, and what made Elton call Bowie cold and arrogant? David Bowie. Before Elton John's songs topped the charts, he and David Bowie had an unusual relationship that turned into a famous quarrel. This relationship between two British music titans shows how egos and artistic differences can cause even revolutionary talents to conflict. The two music superstars were initially friends. We were terrific buddies at first. Mark Bolan and I frequented homosexual bars, Elton told the Evening Standard. Their friendship just drifted apart after a while, according to Elton. Their friendship deteriorated due to personal and professional issues. Many believe Bowie saw similarities between his space-themed song Space Oddity and Elton's Rocket Man. But Elton's longtime writer Bernie Taupin denied it. Additionally, their artistic styles diverged. Bowie was recognized for continuously reinventing himself and making songs for creative expression, but Bowie seemed to dislike Elton's commercial success and consistency. Their philosophical differences caused conflict among the artists. There was always something distant and aloof about him, at least when I was around, Elton said of Bowie, suggesting a personality clash. "I honestly don't know what the problem was, but there was a problem," he said of their breakup. After Bowie insulted Elton in interviews, the conflict became public. In a 1976 Rolling Stone interview, Bowie called Elton rock and roll's token queen, which hurt the Tiny Dancer singer. Bowie continued. He explicitly insulted Elton in another interview. "I'm responsible for a new pretentious school. They know who they are. Do you, Elton?" Elton expressed his opinion on the comments, calling them snobby. "He didn't suit me. I didn't suit him. His insults missed the mark. I consider him foolish." Before him it occurred. "I believe Bowie's crazy." Elton said that Bowie was absolutely out of his mind on coke when he said it. This awareness of Bowie's mid-1970s substance usage troubles contextualize the harsh statements without justifying them. Elton admitted, "David and I were not the best of friends towards the end." He further indicated that Bowie believed he was above him, a superiority complex that plagued the Your Song hitmaker throughout their careers. Before Bowie's liver cancer death in January 2016, the two musical giants never reconciled. This musical quarrel went unsolved, unlike others. Elton showed amazing grace after Bowie's death despite their continued disputes. Elton was devastated when his spouse, David Furnish, called him at 3 a.m. "I was surprised. I couldn't sleep again," he recounted. Elton openly hailed Bowie's dignified death. "Thank goodness he died dignifiedly. Remember, Bowie's death was perfect, elegant," he told the Evening Standard. 3 days after Bowie's death, Elton played an extended piano rendition of Space Oddity in Los Angeles as a farewell homage to his friend and opponent. This musical tribute showed that Elton respected Bowie's creativity and legacy despite their disputes. Both musicians made timeless music that transcended their divides. Despite their issues, Elton John's Your Song and Rocket Man and Bowie's genre-defying masterpieces, spanning musical genres, have shaped music history. Once two of Britain's biggest musical icons, Elton John and George Michael, have had their fair share of conflicts. Why did their once close friendship turn into a long-standing estrangement? And what made Elton feel deeply hurt by George? Once two of Britain's biggest musical icons, Elton John and George Michael, have had their fair share of conflicts. Why did the once close friendship turn into a long-standing estrangement? And what made Elton feel deeply hurt by George? George Michael. In the complicated connection between Elton John and George Michael, friendship, music, and treachery illustrate how personal problems and public criticism can destroy even the most successful artistic partnerships. The main reason their relationship soured was Elton's worry over George's stimulant usage. A recovered addict, Elton continually tried to change George's lifestyle. "I tried to help, but you can't assist individuals who don't want to help themselves," Elton told Channel 4 News following George's. Elton admitted that when people tried to assist him, "I was so angry and I just told them to go away, or I used stronger language than that," a mirror to his own addiction experience. Elton was frustrated by George's reclusiveness beyond substance issues. After Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me's 1991 breakthrough, Elton watched George withdraw from public life. Elton believed George was wasting his enormous gift, but this withdrawal contradicted. Elton said on the talk that he couldn't get at George, adding that Michael resented the fact that I had hinted that maybe he'd change his life a little bit and he'd be happier if he tried something else. The conflict became public in 2004 when Elton gave a contentious interview to Heat magazine, stating that George was in a bizarre place. George's 2004 CD Patience displays his deep-rooted melancholy, which is upsetting. One listener suggests that George should go out more. Given their distance, these statements seemed extremely painful. "We have spoken rarely in the last 10 years, George said. Elton said in his memoirs that his intervention attempts culminated in an expletive-filled argument. Naturally, his public criticism of George's personal and professional life caused stress. After George's death, Elton controversially remarked on Sharon Osbourne's program that he didn't want to be here, adding that George was so uncomfortable in his skin about being gay even though he said he wasn't. The disagreement culminated when George sent an open letter to Heat magazine defending himself. Their relationship never became genuinely close, and Elton's understanding of his life was pretty much limited to the gossip he hears on what you would call the gay grapevine. George ripped Elton's career. He makes millions playing those old classics day in and day out, whereas my drive and passion are still about the future and the songs I have yet to write. Fortunately, the musical legends reconciled. In 2006, Elton told Michael Parkinson on ITV, "George and I are good. He stayed at my residence last year. We're okay." Elton matured when asked about their disagreement. "I'd rather remain quiet. His life is up to him, and I don't want to become involved." They posed together at the 2011 Elton John AIDS Foundation event at London's Royal Opera House, revealing their reconciliation. Sir Elton called George a dear friend and thanked him for his incredible and generous gesture to his organization. George died on Christmas Day 2016, and Elton paid tribute to him by singing "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me" at his final UK performance and Glastonbury Festival headline hit, which coincided with George's 60th. Despite performing together on stage on epic tours, Elton John and Billy Joel have not been on good terms for long. What happened behind the scenes that led Elton to openly criticize his co-star for being undisciplined? Was it professional frustration or something deeper? Elton John and Billy Joel captivated audiences for years before public criticism turned them into rivals. Magazines and TV interviews revealed a major change in the face-to-face tour partners' friendship. Billy annoyed Elton for two main reasons. He thought Billy wasn't serious about alcohol recovery. Elton told Rolling Stone that Billy's therapy was insufficient compared to his own. "I had to wipe the floors in rehab." He attends TV-equipped rehab. After 1993's River of Dreams CD, Elton became more frustrated by Billy's lack of new compositions. In a 2011 Rolling Stone interview, Elton said, "At the end of the day, he's coasting," and asked, "Billy, can't you write another song?" He blamed either fear or laziness for this creative drought. Multiple face-to-face tours were canceled throughout their partnership, including some owing to alcoholism, according to Elton. Disruptions seemed to exacerbate Elton's dissatisfaction with his touring partner. In a 2011 Rolling Stone cover story, Elton made a powerful statement on tough love. "I love you, Billy, and this is tough love. Billy, your demons will not be eliminated at rehab light. You are loved and respected by many. You should be able to improve." Elton said on the Today Show that Billy was outraged about these comments. "He hates me. He messaged me saying he's upset." But Elton said, "I'm sorry I had to say it, but I'm saying it because I want Billy to live a long life and be very happy." Public response to Elton John's Billy Joel remarks. "I've worked with Elton for so long and enjoyed our relationship. Too much to let something as random as these comments change my affection for him," Billy said of Elton's critiques. "Just being Elton." Billy clarified in a four-part statement. 1. I do not dislike Elton John. 2. I won't hit him in the face. 3. He can call me at the same number. 4. Good movie luck. In 2015, Billy told Entertainment Weekly that Elton's comments were normal. "He does it with everyone." Later, he regrets running off at the mouth. As they performed "I'd Tie His Shoes" on stage while he's playing the piano, just to try and set him up, exposed their complicated connection. Billy stated in a 2022 New Zealand radio interview that "We respect each other, and we love each other," ending the piano legend's dispute. As a pop icon with a fiery performance, Janet Jackson captivated the world, but not everyone was convinced, especially Elton John. Why did he publicly criticize her live singing ability in the media? Janet Jackson. Elton John attacked Janet Jackson on her Unbreakable global tour in February 2016 for musical inauthenticity. Elton had a problem with Janet because he believes in live performance authenticity. Elton, who was known for his authentic live performances, believed that performers should sing live when people pay high rates for concert tickets. The principle fits Elton's musical perspective. Elton John believed true live voices were the foundation of creative integrity throughout his decades of songwriting and touring. He was furious when Janet received rave reviews for inauthentic performances. This episode repeated Elton's 2004 critique of Madonna, showing that he holds fellow artists to his performance integrity standard, regardless of genre or prominence. In a 2016 Rolling Stone interview, Elton made comments regarding Janet Jackson, stating, "Fucking music magazine's writing a review of Janet Jackson saying, 'This is the greatest show, 4.5 stars, lip-synced.' Hello? That's no show. I'd rather see a drag queen." His outburst showed his love for honest performance and his willingness to publicly critique other artists, including Jackson. Since singing professionally in the 1960s, Elton has believed that live vocals constitute great musicianship. Unlike past musical feuds, Elton John and Janet Jackson have not reconciled publicly. Jackson never addressed Elton's claims that she lip-synced on her Unbreakable tour. Jackson's camp's quiet contrasts with Madonna's rapprochement with Elton. Janet is quieter than most of her peers and has avoided public feuds. As of 2025, neither artist has indicated a settlement to this one-sided argument, highlighting Elton's propensity to criticize fellow musicians regardless of their fame. Which name on the list of 6 artists that Elton John dislikes surprised you the most? Do you think these conflicts are legitimate or just artistic egos clashing? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more interesting updates. Thank you and see you in the next videos.